On our Argent Bells anniversary, my bedmate gave me a annulment affidavit instead of a gift. 25 years is connected enough, he announced in advance of all our guests. I appetite edition adolescent now, and you allegation to be out of the address by tomorrow. He seemed to accept abandoned that my parents able me that condo. His mother, Celeste Price, aloof smiled silently. I rose, took the microphone, and said article that labored him speechless. That night, Naomi Sterling woke up to whispers from abaft the bedchamber door. Her husband, Darren Price, was on the phone with his mother afresh at 3 a.m. His articulation articulate abnormally excited. Naomi lay still in the dark, communicable snippets of the conversation. We accept to do this right, Darren's voice insisted. She won't doubtable a thing. Of advance not, son, his mother replied. Naomi tensed. What were they acute in secret? And why now? Aloof a few weeks afore their ceremony anniversary. The Bork attic creaked as Darren returned to the room. Naomi bound shut her eyes, assuming to be asleep. He slipped into bed carefully, but she could feel his anatomy was stiff, restless. The abutting morning, aggregate acquainted odd. Darren was unnaturally affectionate. Naomi, my love, he said, kissing her cheek. He smelled of big-ticket cologne. How about we accept the restaurant for our ceremony today? I appetite aggregate to be perfect. Perfect. Naomi aloft an eyebrow. In 25 years of marriage, Darren had never been so agog about a family celebration. She consistently organized everything, and he abandoned begin fault. Fine, she replied carefully, watching him blitz off to work. His corpuscle buzz was on the nightstand. The awning lit up with a notification. Naomi couldn't admonition but look. It was a gender reminder. Call us at 11 a.m. she asked casually, watering the window plants. Who's the S you accept in your contacts? Darren spun about abruptly. For a second, Naomi saw agitation beam in his eyes, but he calmed himself. Ah, Sanchez, a aide from Seattle, aloof consulting him on assignment issue. A lie. Naomi knew her bedmate like the back of her hand. Aback he lied, his left eye consistently twitched aloof as it was accomplishing now. I see, she replied with a smile. But abysmal inside, her chest tightened. Already he left, Naomi stood by the window, gazing at the grey October sky over Georgetown. 25 years, an analysis century, they met in college. She was a Blaze accounting student. He was a new panned coming manager. They affiliated for love, absent of accouchement and a big family. But accouchement never came. Doctors found annihilation wrong, but the phenomenon never happened. Darren took it hard, especially aback his mother, Celeste, started authoritative acquiescent advancing comments about grandchildren. In time, they accustomed actuality childless and focused on the positives. Added time for themselves, for travel, and for career advancement. But Article Basic had abashed amid them. A beating on the door pulled her from her thoughts. Standing there was Celeste Price, her mother-in-law, with her accepted frigid smile. Naomi, dear, she said, entering the address afterwards cat and mouse for an invitation. How are you? Are you advancing for the party? Celeste always treated Naomi with abstract courtesy, but maintained abundant distance. In 25 years of marriage, she never already alleged Naomi her daughter. Slowly but surely, Naomi replied, arch her to the active room. Darren wants to bless at a restaurant. Very good, Celeste responded brightly. A admirable area with guests. Accomplishing aggregate at home just doesn't appearance how important the date is. She began attractive about the active allowance as if evaluating it. Naomi knew that look. It consistently fabricated her feel afterwards a distinct chat actuality announced that Celeste's Berghalle abode was beyond and bigger decorated. By the way, Naomi, dear, Celeste said, settling into an armchair. I've been cerebration about the future. Darren is not so adolescent anymore. He's 53 and well, we don't accept grandchildren. Don't you think it would be an acceptable abstraction to address a will for the grandkids aloof in case? Naomi acquainted a chill. What grandchildren? Celeste. We don't accept children. Well, for my nephews, she said dismissively, bouncing her hand. I accept 2 nephews, acceptable boys, studying, working. If we don't, the government will booty everything. Naomi Arid placed her beaker on the table. And area do you accumulate the address papers? Celeste back asked as if it were an accidental afterthought. I'm aloof cerebration about the boy's future. The nephews, the adolescent people. That was it. Naomi accepted the subtext. They're in the safe, she replied dryly. But why do you ask? Oh, aloof in case. You never apperceive what might happen. It's acceptable to apperceive area things are. Aback Celeste assuredly left, Naomi sat in silence, piecing things together. The backward night call, Darren's aberrant burst of affection, and now Celeste's acicular questions about the abode title. Bit by bit, the addle was forming, and she did not like the picture. She went to analysis Darren's computer. He had never changed the countersign before. He consistently acclimated a simple key, the date they met, but it didn't assignment this time. Her affection raced. In 25 years, he had never kept secrets from her. She approved his birthday, nothing. She approved his mother's. Nope. Afresh it occurred to her to try their wedding date, but in reverse. It worked. The browser history opened, and what she saw gave her a bond in her stomach. How to annulment a back aggregate assets exist. Spousal rights in acreage division. Legal admonition for separation. He had searched all of this over the accomplished 2 weeks. With abashed fingers, she circling folio afterwards page. How to keep the address in a divorce. Legal tricks for adding assets. Suddenly, her buzz rang. It was her associate Candice. Naomi, you won't believe what I saw. You're Darren. I saw him at a jeweller's in Tyson's Galleria with an adolescent woman. They were attractive at rings. She was adhering him like nothing. What did she attending like? Naomi disconnected softly. About 30, blonde, actual put together, cutting a air-conditioned big-ticket coat, pretty, but she looked superficial. And they were so openly affectionate. Are you okay, Naomi? Yes, Naomi lied. Everything's fine. But annihilation was fine. That evening, Darren alternate with a bouquet of roses and a box of adorned chocolates. For my one and abandoned accurate love, he said confidently, kissing her lips. One and only. How ironic, Naomi thought. She looked him beeline in the eye. We allegation to. Allocution actively about our future. Darren tensed. It was subtle, but she saw it. Allocution about what? He asked, turning on the TV, assuming to be captivated in the programming. Everything's fine, right? The anniversary is in 1 week. All our company will be there. Let's not blemish the affection with austere topics. We'll talk after the party. Okay. Afterwards the party. That meant Article Big was planned for the affair itself. Naomi nodded, feigning acceptance, but acquainted an icy aloofness within. Afterwards 25 years, she knew her husband well. He was advancing Article calmly and coldly involving his mother and absolutely a lawyer. What Darren didn't apperceive was that Naomi had an ace up her sleeve, Article that could break all his plans. And for now, she wasn't activity to acquaint him a thing. The abutting day, Naomi woke up with a bond in her stomach, as if her abhorrent tragedy had addled the day before, and she was aloof acquirements to live with it. Darren labored aboriginal afterwards breakfast. I accept a meeting, he said. A meeting. Naomi anticipation bitterly. She knew absolutely who that affair was with. At 11 a.m., the home buzz rang. Darren had abandoned his corpuscle phone, abrogation it face bottomward in the kitchen. Naomi didn't answer, but the answering apparatus recorded the message. D, it's Mom. I baton to Mr. Hayes. Aggregate can be arranged. The important affair is that she doesn't doubtable annihilation until the actual aftermost moment. Allow me aback you're free. Hayes, the declared Seattle colleague. Now it all fabricated sense. Naomi acquainted the arena a chord way below her. 25 years, analysis eon beside a man who was now planning his betrayal like appointment paperwork. She approached Darren's phone. It appropriate a 6-digit code. She approved the date they met, September 1st, 1999. Nope. She approved Celeste's birthday. Nothing. Afresh she remembered the albino from the jewelers. Her intuition told her to try March 8th, International Women's Day. It worked. The lover's birthday. The texts confirmed everything. Sierra, my love, a little added patience. Afterwards the anniversary, aggregate will be resolved. The condo will be ours. D, you said would be active calm by New Year's. I'm affronted of hiding. My love, aggregate is going according to plan. Mom has already taken affliction of things. Naomi suspects nothing. Hayes says, if we comedy this right, she'll abandon get half. I'll accumulate the condo. Naomi angled into a chair, her hands shaking. They were planning her activity as if she were allotment of second-hand property. Darren, his mother, the advocate Hayes, the bedmate Sierra, all circuitous in allurement area she was the prey. And the affliction was yet to come. Hey, Mom. Are you abiding the address title is in both our names? Maybe we got advantageous and it's aloof mine. Son, I saw the copies aback you bought it. Both names are on it. But Hayes says there are ways. The important affair is she signs the waiver. And if she won't sign, she will sign. Afterwards what we're activity to do to her at the party, she won't accept any other option. What did they plan to do to her? Naomi acquainted all over's assent in her throat. They were activity to abase her in advance of everyone, allege her of something. Afterwards crumbling time, she afflicted all the important letters to her own buzz and put Darren's buzz back area she begin it. She bear a plan. She bear help. She alleged Aisha Cole, her academy friend, now ancestor's attorney. They didn't allocution often, but their friendship remained strong. Naomi. Aisha said aback she answered. Long time no talk. How are you? Can we accommodate it today? Naomi asked, aggravating to complete calm. I allegation a consultation. Sure, I'm chargeless at 6. Appear to the appointment and we'll talk. Aisha's appointment was Berghall in a avant-garde high-rise. She greeted Naomi with a hug, but Anon noticed the tension. Sit down. Acquaint me everything. What happened? Naomi took a abysmal breath. Let's aloof say an associate of abundance is accepting agitation with her husband. He wants a divorce, but is ambuscaded, and it seems his ambience a trap. Aisha looked at her intently. You abiding this is a academic acquaintance, Naomi. Naomi was bashful for a few seconds, afresh told her everything. The backward night calls, the buzz messages. Sierra, her mother-in-law's scheming, everything. Aisha listened occasionally, allurement for clarification. I understand, she said finally. This is serious, but you're not lost. The good news is you reacted in time. Acquaint me about the house. Aback did you buy it? Whose name is on the title? We put both names on it in 2005. Equal shares. Are you formally employed? Yes, I'm the ambassador at Alliance Development Group. I've been there for 15 years, and the weekend berth is additionally in both names, but it's not annual much. The address is the capital asset. Aisha jotted bottom-ward notes. Naomi, they can't do annihilation to you if you accumulate a bright head. In a divorce, anybody receives what is legally theirs. No one can force you to beachcomber your share. But it's bright they are planning article dirty. They appetite to put you in a anemic affecting position, a scandal, an accusation, article to break you. You allegation to be ready. How do I prepare? Gather evidence. Booty photos of the messages. Record conversations if you can. Move some of the money into an account abandoned in your name. Best importantly, don't let them apperceive that you apperceive what they're doing. Naomi nodded. For the aboriginal time in days, she acquainted article abutting to relief. She had a plan. She had support. Thanks, Aisha. How abundant do I owe you? Aisha smiled. Nothing, girl. A company don't charge. Aloof accumulate me in the loop. And remember, no amount what happens, you are not abandoned or defenseless. Naomi alternate home bent to act. But what she begin a loft accession accepted the war had already begun. Darren was by the admission blockage himself in the mirror. You attending affectionate of Run Bottom Ward today, huh? He blurted out without attractive at her directly. Absolve me, but yes, Naomi, you've let yourself go a bit lately. Look, Axis 50 isn't the end of the world, but you allegation to booty affliction of yourself. Go to the gym, see the dermatologist, get something done. I saw Candace's babe today. She's 30 but looks 25, actual polished. And you? Well, you understand. He was comparing her to adolescent women, setting the date to absolve his betrayal. I accept her fare tomorrow, he announced suddenly. It's Saturday, but it will booty all day. Addition date with Sierra. That's fine, Naomi replied calmly. And Sunday, I'm activity with Mom. I'm activity to set up her new acute TV. Spending time with the trader's family. That night, aback Darren was in the shower, Naomi advised their collective coffer annual online. In the aftermost month, $30,000 had been aloof in several transactions. Ability for Sierra, payments to the lawyer, and who knows what else. All with their aggregate money. Naomi let out a nervous, breakable laugh. They were using her own money to plan her downfall, but she had an ace up her sleeve, article they didn't know. A week prior, a letter had accustomed from a notary. Her Aunt Josephine, her father's older sister, had anesthetized abroad in Germany. She had no accouchement or spouse. She labored her complete acreage to Naomi, her abandoned niece. This included a dress in Munich admired at $800,000 equivalent. A coffer annual with $570,000 equivalent. Addition affluence advance address in Miami Beach, Florida. Complete amount over $3 million. Naomi hadn't told anyone. She capitaled to abruptness Darren on their anniversary, but now that money and acreage were her salvation, she opened her laptop and began researching how to annals the inheritance, alteration the funds to her personal account, and accurately assure herself from the bodies who saw her as a fool. Darren anticipation he captivated all the cards, but the bold was aloof beginning. On Monday, Naomi woke up with a clear plan. First, she visited a notary, but not the one administration her aunt's case. She went to see an old acquaintance, Mr. Perry, the complete acreage advocate who had helped them acquirement the address years ago. Naomi Sterling, how abounding years. And how is Darren Price doing? Mr. Perry, an older gentleman, greeted her with a smile. Mr. Perry, I allegation your help, she said, entering his office. But it has to be anxiously confidential. The lawyer's face grew serious. Sit down. I'm listening. Do you bethink our address on M Street in Georgetown? You did the appellation assignment in the 2005. Of course, a actual acceptable assemblage in a fine building. Do you anamnesis who purchased it first? I mean, area did the money appear from? Mr. Perry frowned, opened an old file, and searched for a moment. Actuality it is. It was an abnormal case. The money came anon from your parents' account, and in the accomplishment of gift, you are listed as the sole recipient. Darren was added 2 months afterwards as your husband. Naomi acquainted a billow of amore in her chest. So, it's formally a premarital asset. Formally, yes. Your parents able it to you afore Darren's name appeared on the documents. In case of divorce, that can accomplish all the difference. He could only claim article if he proves he invested in above renovations. Naomi smiled faintly. Darren never spent a dime on the condo. She had done aggregate herself. Could you accord me a acknowledging document? Of course. Appear back tomorrow afternoon. It will be ready. Abrogation the office. Naomi acquainted different. Afterwards so abounding days, she assuredly acquainted strong, protected. But what accessible her at home left her breathless. A bagman delivered a blubbery envelope from Germany. The final papers for Aunt Josephine's inheritance. Naomi apprehended the curve with the admonition of a summary. A address in Munich admired at $800,000, a coffer annual with $570,000, and the affluence advance address in Miami Beach. Added than $3 actor in total. She sat in the active room. She was now a wealthy, independent, chargeless woman. But Darren shouldn't know. Not yet. Her buzz rang. It was Darren, his voice overly cheerful. Naomi, my love, I was thinking, what if we absolutely celebrate our anniversary? Colleagues, friends, everyone. Why such a big deal, Dee? Why? It's 25 years, our Argent anniversary. I appetite anybody to see what a perfect family we have. I already aloof the amphitheatre at the Watergate Auberge for 100 people. 100 bodies for her public humiliation. Isn't that expensive, Darren? We're declared to be saving. Don't anguish about it, he interrupted. The money is there. The important affair is the impression. We'll allure my boss, yours. Anybody needs to see how blessed we are. What a cynical lie. Fine, Naomi said calmly. Whatever you say. Perfect. I accept a meeting with some partners. We'll allocution tonight. Partners. Naomi knew what that meant. In the afternoon, Celeste Price accustomed with a gift. Naomi, dear, she said in a pathetic voice, handing her an envelope. This is from me to you. It was a consultation with an accomplished ancestors lawyer. Just in case, you never know. Naomi opened the envelope, a business card, Hayes and Associates, annulment and property law, with a note. Chargeless appointment anytime. The audacity. They were giving her appointment with the actual advocate who was planning her betrayal. Acknowledge you, Naomi said dryly. Very thoughtful. I anguish about you, daughter. Daughter. For the aboriginal time in 25 years, her mother-in-law alleged her that aloof afore cutting her in the back. After Celeste left, Naomi began to clean. In one of Darren's jackets, she found a channeled card. Mr. Hayes, Ancestors Law, Divorce, Asset Division, Alimony. The aforementioned lawyer, the aforementioned plan. Darren came home backward that night, airy and smelling of big-ticket perfume. He hugged Naomi. Aggregate is ready. Restaurant menu, guests, it will be unforgettable. Naomi looked at him coldly. He was right. It was activity to be unforgettable. Aloof not the way he imagined. Dee, what cologne are you wearing? That's not yours. Ah, he hesitated. I got on the elevator with the neighbor. She wears a actual Abel perfume, and it clung to my jacket, one lie afterwards another. By the way, he said, walking adjoin the window. At the anniversary, I'm activity to accord a appropriate accent about our activity and our future plans. What plans? You'll see. It's a surprise. A surprise. Naomi acquainted a chill. She couldn't beddy by that night. About 2 a.m., she heard a murmur. Darren was on the buzz in the hallway. She got up agilely and apprenticed her ear to the bedroom door. Mom, aggregate is perfect. The restaurant is booked. Guests are confirmed. Afterwards the toast, it will all aloof happen. Are you abiding? She doesn't doubtable anything. How would she suspect? She's above board like a child. She's consistently trusted me, and she still does. And if she doesn't appetite to sign the papers, she will sign. Afterwards what I acquaint her in advance of everyone, she'll have no added option. Anybody will see what she's absolutely like, you know. Dee, don't you anticipate it would be bigger to do it abreast at home afterwards a scene? No, Mom. It has to be in advance of everyone. That way, she won't be able to accomplish a arena or appeal explanations. She'll go beeline home, and Hayes will be cat and mouse for her there with the papers. Quick, clean, and no drama. And Sierra already knows. Of course, she's alike advancing to the anniversary. I want her to accommodate my colleagues. I'm activity to acquaint her as my new assistant. You're cruel. It's not cruelty, Mom. It's actuality practical. 25 years was enough. I deserve to be happy, too, even if it's at her expense. Naomi went back to bed, but couldn't sleep. So Sierra was activity to be at the party, too. She was activity to attestant the abasement of her battling and a fresh booty her abode in the home. That's what they thought. In the morning, Naomi went to the bank. She opened a claimed annual and transferred bisected of the money from the collective savings. If Darren capital to continue spending on his mistress, he would do it with his half. Afresh she went to the advocate for the document confirming that the address was chastening from afore the marriage. Next, she went to work. "Mr. Boudreau," she said to her boss, entering his office. "Can I allege with you?" "Of course, Naomi Sterling, is aggregate all right?" "Everything is accomplished for now. I aloof capital to acquaint you that I will soon be entering a difficult claimed phase." "Divorce?" he asked, frowning. "Seriously? I anticipation you two were solid. You alike arrive me to your anniversary. That's absolutely why I want to acquaint you. If things go wrong, I achievement I can calculation on your support. My assignment won't be affected. You are the best controller we've had in 15 years. Whatever happens, your job is safe." That night, while Darren was at audition meeting, Naomi took out the bequest documents. She bare a clear, well-thought-out plan. The Miami Beach address was empty. Aunt Josephine had busy it out, but the arrangement had ended ages ago. Naomi could move there afterwards the divorce. With the money in the German bank, she had financial independence for years. And best importantly, the certificate proving the DC address was chastening from afore the marriage. Darren would never see that coming. Tomorrow was the anniversary. He anticipation he would bear the final blow, but he was the one about to be blindsided. Naomi put all the affidavit in the safe and smiled. Thursday morning, she went to the German consulate. She bare to ascertain the bequest to admission Aunt Josephine's accounts. The consul, an older admirer with a neatly akin beard, advised the abstracts carefully. "Everything in order, Mrs. Sterling. Your aunt was a actual advisable woman. The coffer accounts will be afar in 1 week. And apropos the Miami Beach condo, buying passes to your name immediately. Actuality are the papers. You can actuate of it as you wish." Naomi anxiously put the abstracts in her bag. She now endemic 3 properties, over $1 actor in cash, and best admired of all, complete freedom. That aforementioned day, she opened edition annual in euros to prepare for the all-embracing transfer. The coffer advisor, a adolescent woman, looked at the numbers in the affidavit with advanced eyes. "Wow, you did actual able-bodied with the inheritance, didn't you?" "Yes," Naomi smiled. "My aunt was an absurd woman. Leaving the bank, she acquainted a weight lift from her. For the aboriginal time in years, she acquainted absolutely chargeless and independent. She no best cared what Darren planned. That was no best her problem. But the abruptness cat and mouse for her alfresco the Watergate Auberge was a siculate blow. She had gone to analysis on the ceremony of fair arrangements, and appropriate by the entrance, a adolescent albino woman in an big-ticket covering was talking on the phone. "Dee, my love, it's incredible," Sierra was adage in a ailing candid voice. "The ballroom is huge. The adornment is divine. You promised we'd alive in a huge address soon, and I can already brainstorm hosting parties there." It was Sierra, her husband's mistress. She was abandoned a few anxiety away, talking absurdly about the life she would accept with him. Naomi stood still, watching her. There was no doubt she was pretty, about 30, abundant figure, apple pie hair, complete nails, but her eyes were empty, cold, and calculating. "Of course, I accept tomorrow will be difficult," Sierra continued. "But you said afterwards your accent she'd understand everything, and I'll be there as your new assistant. Romantic, right? Publicly humiliating your wife is romantic." Naomi absolved closer. "Excuse me, do you know where the administrator is?" Sierra turned, looked Naomi up and bottomward with disdain. "No idea," she replied coldly. "I don't assignment here." She alternate to her phone. "Duh, there's some adult allurement me questions here." "Okay, see you tonight. I adulation you." "Some lady." Naomi smiled to herself. Tomorrow, this adult would bear a big surprise. The restaurant manager, a kindly, beefy woman, accustomed Naomi with a smile. "Your actuality about tomorrow's anniversary. Mr. Price already paid for everything. Amphitheater for 100 people. Banquet, live music. And how abundant did all that cost? $45,000. Your bedmate requested the best of the best. $45,000 to abase her in public." Naomi nodded. "I see. Can I see the ballroom? Yes, the allowance was luxurious. High ceilings, bright chandeliers, bright white tablecloths, enormous mirrors on the walls. All the guests would accept a complete appearance of the spectacle. Area will the microphone for the toasts be? Naomi asked. Appropriate actuality in the center, the administrator said. Mr. Price insisted that anybody apprehend him. Of course, so no one misses the humiliation. At home, Darren was waiting, nervous, pacing with the cardboard in his hand. Ah, Naomi, he said, quickly putting the cardboard away. Where were you? At the restaurant. Blockage everything. What did you anticipate of it? Impressive. $45,000 for one night. Seriously, Dee, don't you anticipate that's too much? We accept added plans, right? Don't anguish about it, he scoffed. The money is there. The important affair is to accomplish acceptable consequence on the guests or on the mistress. That night, Celeste Price arrived completely excited. Dee son, are you ready? Did you rehearse your speech? Of course. Mom. Aggregate will be perfect. Don't worry. She patted his shoulder. Your accent will be a success. Everyone will see that you fabricated the appropriate decision. The appropriate decision. Naomi watched them from the kitchen, the acerbity architecture inside. Mom, what if she makes a scene? Darren asked. She won't, Celeste replied confidently. With so abounding people, she'll authority it together. She's an accomplished woman. They'll settle things at home. And Hayes, is he ready? Yes, the affidavit are done. All she needs to do is sign. Afterwards your speech, she'll accept no choice. Naomi agilely went to the bedchamber and took her own affidavit from the drawer. She had aggregate ready. She put all the abstracts into a baby folder. The paper stating the address was chastening from afore the marriage, the bequest documents, and the annual for her new coffer account. Tomorrow, those abstracts would change everything. Later that night, aback Celeste had left, Darren bound himself in his study. Naomi heard him alarm his speech, murmuring words to himself. She approached the aperture and listened intently. Dear friends, today is a special day. 25 years ago, I fabricated a accommodation that seemed right. But life moves on, bodies change, and sometimes you accept the adventuresomeness to accept your mistakes. Mistakes. 25 years of marriage was his mistake. I acknowledge Naomi for these years, but bluntness demands I allege the truth. We are altered bodies with altered values, with altered diplomacy for the future, and I accept fabricated a decision. The rest was muffled, but the acceptation was clear. Naomi alternate to the bedroom. She had no admiration to sleep. In the morning, Darren woke up in acceptable mood. Naomi, he said, adjusting his tie bond in advance of the mirror. Today is a great day. Yes, our anniversary. Not aloof that, he said, animated strangely. Tomorrow your activity is activity to change and so is mine. Completely. Completely. You'll see. Your activity to be surprised. Surprised. Dee, can I ask you a question? Sure. What is it? Did you any time absolutely adulation me? Truly. He froze, tie in hand. What a awe-inspiring question. Why are you allurement that on such an important day? Aloof curious. Of course I admired you, he said afterwards attractive at her. And I still adulation you in my own way. In his own way, like someone who cares for an old allotment of appliance that has served its purpose. I understand, Naomi said quietly. Throughout the day, Darren was frantic, calling the restaurant, blockage the bedfellow list, giving orders. By the evening, he was visibly anxious. Are you ready, Naomi? She stood afore the mirror in a new affected aphotic dejected dress bought abnormally for this day. Ready. Then let's go. It's time for the accuracy to be known. The truth. Naomi effective her purse where the abstracts rested. Yes, it's time for anybody to apperceive the truth. They didn't speak on the drive. Darren was nervous, boot his fingers on the council wheel. Naomi watched the Berghall lights through the window. 25 years ago, they additionally rode in blackout to the courthouse. But that blackout was one of action and love. Today, it was the silence before a battle. Naomi, Darren said aback they accustomed at the hotel, no matter what happens today, I appetite you to apperceive that I ambition you the best. The best? What a atrocious mockery. Thank you, Dee, she replied with a serene smile. And I wish you accept absolutely what you deserve. The amphitheater at the Watergate Hotel sparkled. 100 guests were built in at annular tables with white roses and gold candles. At the arched table sat the hosts. Naomi smiled and accepted congratulations, but central she was tense. The draft was advancing any minute. Naomi, you attending Beauteous today, said Marina, a co-worker. 25 years together. How romantic. Yes, Naomi said, attractive around. Actual unexpected. All of it. In one bend of the allowance stood Sierra, Darren's mistress. She had been alien as his new marketing assistant. Young, pretty, in an actual big-ticket dress. She chatted calmly with some colleagues as if annihilation were amiss. Darren Price, congratulations on your anniversary, said Mr. Michael Boudreau, the CEO of Darren's company. Rarely does one see such solid couples. Thank you, Mr. Boudreau, Darren replied, afraid his hand. Today is a special day. I like able a actual appropriate speech. A speech. Naomi's throat went dry. Celeste Price went from table to table accepting adulation for her acceptable son and the ideal wife he had. Her eyes glowed with satisfaction. She knew what was about to happen. At a baby table in the back, a man in his 50s in aphotic clothing sat actual seriously. Naomi didn't know him, but she accustomed his picture. Mr. Hayes, the lawyer. He was there in case a signature was needed. Baby guests, the articulation of the adept of ceremony articulate over the microphone. May I ask for your attention? Darren would like to say a few words in honor of his wife. A blackout fell. Anybody affronted adjoin the capital table. Darren stood up, took the microphone, and smiled broadly. Friends, acknowledge you for actuality on this important day. 25 years is no baby thing. It's an analysis eon alongside one person. The bedfellow nodded, adopting their glasses. I've anticipation a lot about our life together, Darren continued. About what affiliated us, what fabricated us happy, and what didn't so much. Naomi tensed. It's starting, she thought. And I accomplished article very important. Bodies change. What seems appropriate to back your adolescent can eventually about face out to be a mistake. The ballroom grew quieter. Bodies exchanged abashed glances. 25 years ago, I chose the woman who would be my activity partner, guided by active emotions. But activity accomplished me to see things added clearly. Darren, Naomi murmured. What are you talking about? The truth, dear. It's time to stop lying to ourselves. He turned to the guests, his articulation harder, firmer. Baby friends, I appetite to be honest with you and with myself. For 25 years, I endured her activity with a woman who is not right for me. A grey, arid woman who doesn't apperceive how to be the accomplice of a successful man. The amphitheater erupted in afraid murmurs. Darren, are you crazy? Someone yelled. Quite the opposite, he said calmly. I'm assuredly thinking clearly. Naomi needs to accept this. Our alliance is over. I'm filing for divorce. The allowance was stunned. Some gasped. Others captivated their calmly to their chests. His mother, Celeste, smiled triumphantly. Furthermore, Darren continued, activity emboldened, I appetite a fair analysis of assets. Naomi must leave the condo. It's time for a new life, new relationships. He looked advisedly at Sierra, the blonde, who stood in the back, about concealing a wry smirk. Is this a joke? A woman asked, bewildered. Are you in your appropriate mind, Darren? His bang-up demanded. More than ever, he replied coldly. I accept the appropriate to be blessed and I'm activity to exercise it. Naomi will accept what the law dictates and we will abstract it on acceptable terms. And that adolescent babe is your new conquest. One of Naomi's friends shouted, pointing at Sierra. Sierra is an admirable woman. She understands what I need, Darren said openly. Unlike added people. That was enough. Naomi slowly rose and Acclaim took the microphone from her abashed husband. Acknowledge you, Darren, she said in a quiet, about candid voice. Very honest. The allowance fell silent. Anybody accepted tears, ball for her to run out. You know, baby friends, Naomi continued. Darren is appropriate about one thing. Abundant of the lies, and I appetite to allege the truth, too. Darren frowned. This was not in his script. The accuracy is, I knew about this whole charade for 3 weeks. I knew about Sierra, about the advocate Hayes, who's right over there in the corner, and about your diplomacy to accomplish me beachcomber my rights to the condo. Mr. Hayes turned pale and approved to blooper out unnoticed, but affronted guests blocked his path. Naomi, what are you talking about? Darren approved to interrupt. That your plan fell apart, darling. You see, she said, diplomacy a binder from her purse. You fabricated a tiny mistake. Our address is not an aggregate asset. It was an allowance from my